Alright, here we go. Turn this thing on. See that 1536K words? That's max mem IB109. SCSI card installed. Floppy. Taking its sweet ass time to do anything, because that's how they roll. And down here we got the Microtech PCD 25. Access light is dim for now. Set to SCSI ID 0. Everything's set to ID 0. That's just how I keep it. And once this is loaded up, we're going to hit our disk thing to go down and format. We'll go all the way down to page 9. And you see that 33%, because I have a 32 megabyte card in here. When it is wiped, it will go all the way to 1409%. Let's format it to just to be double safe. Now when we go up to floppy, as you know, when you were clicked on this floppy thing, my hand's on the arrow key here, I hit a lot of the arrow key. You hit that arrow key once and this floppy goes, which is useless. It thinks we want to rename the floppy. We don't. We want to make a SCSI volume. The way you make a SCSI volume is you put your hand on the wheel, you turn the wheel once, and boom, saw that cursor fly over. It thinks it's S9 blank 0. I think the 0 stands for the volume number because we haven't even labeled it yet. So the way you label a volume, and you have to create a volume because that's the only way it knows how to save anything. That's just the lexicon they use. You hit letter. And now the cursor went from blinking to open, so we'll hit 1. And once we hit that 1, this is going to go over to that. And look, floppy 1, volume 1. That's temporary, right? So now when I hit this arrow key, instead of this, I'm not going to have the floppy in the shot. Instead of the floppy lighting up, to get renamed the floppy, let me see if I can get both in the shot. Look, I'm going to hit the arrow key and the SCSI, boom, you saw that access light blink up, right? And now it wants us to rename that. So we'll be renaming the SCSI volume, not the floppy volume. So let's hit letter, let's call it SCSI. And I probably should have thought of something with a more simpler name so it would go faster, so it's not waste your time. But I'm already here, so let me just go with that. Space, space. And then once we hit enter, boom. See that? SCSI 1, volume 1 is called SCSI. So that's it. We've created our first SCSI volume. And we'll save the currently loaded up program. And you'll notice that once I hit this enter key, nothing's going on with the floppy. It is saving fast, fast, fast. And look at that down there. Boom! Look at that thing flying. Look at that. Oh man, it's already done. So yeah, we'll go back up. We'll do another volume just to make sure we're doing it right. So we got to highlight it on the SCSI thing. Don't hit the arrow key. Remember, if you want to create a new volume, you use the wheel. So you're on the SCSI's highlighted with the cursor. You turn the wheel one time. It sends you over here for some reason. You hit letter, put a number in there, then hit enter, and now you got SCSI volume 2. I just hit the arrow key to get down to SCSI. Now I'm going to hit the letter key again to give it a new name. Hit 2, and that's it. SCSI volume 2 is called SCSI 2. Let's do another one. We're up here on SCSI. We want to name it, so step 1, turn the wheel. Step 2, hit letter. Step 3, hit a number. Then hit enter. And then the final step is to hit the arrow key one more time, and then to rename it by hitting letter and hitting enter. And so on and so forth. You're creating a SCSI volume every time you want to save a new program, basically. And that's basically it. You see I got SCSI 3 on volume 3, SCSI 2 on volume 2, SCSI 1 on volume 1, and floppy is 0. Now if I hit enter now, it's going to do the floppy thing, and we'll be back in that hell. And we don't want to do that. But you can see I got you can just keep doing that all day. And that's basically it. A couple things you just need to know is that this is an ancient sampler. It's an 88 Akai, obviously, so it was never meant to really have anything much more than a 64 megabyte drive. And if you try to fill up more than 64 megabytes, you'll see that you can't. It basically is I think the way it mathematically works out is 64 megabytes minus 10%. So it'll basically stop at 55 megabytes. Or a volume number of, I think, about 110 volumes. I think that's the most volumes it'll recognize per card. Like whether it's a hard drive or a card or whatever. And that's basically it. Yeah, that's a 32 megabyte card I have in there now. I just have tons of those lying around because I could get like 20 of them on eBay for $5 or something like that. So I have, like 32 volumes per each card just to keep it simple. And that's basically it. It's all ready to go. All right.